Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. And you know what? We had the big marathon information rollout yesterday. We have pre-orders that are now open, which I'll talk about that in a second. But I gotta say, I'm not the only one that thinks this. I actually think this game looks pretty decent. Now, Bungie isn't a development studio and a publisher, and PlayStation as well. PlayStation obviously owns Bungie. They don't deserve all of the goodwill in the world right now, given Bungie's handling of Destiny 2. And while I'm not a big Destiny 2 player, and I haven't been in a very, very long time, I really wasn't ever a big Destiny 2 player. Like, I played it, but I never got super into it. One of my best friends is a hardcore Destiny 2 player, and I was trying to tell him, dude, Marathon actually looks good, and he's in the position where he's been in what I would call the abusive relationship with Destiny 2, which I know a lot of other people have been, where, and that's the case with a lot of live service games where they've just invested so much into it that they'll go back and they'll go back and they'll go back, but they hate the game and they hate Bungie. And me even insinuating that I thought Marathon looked pretty good, he was just like, Mush, stop. If I wrote to you guys verbatim the text that he sent me after I told him, yo, Marathon looks kind of good, that was verbatim what I said. But I literally can't read what he sent back to me, as it was a very, very insulting message with a lot of mean statements, let's just put it that way. But no, really, I do think Marathon looks pretty good, and beyond all of the information about the game, I do want to give them credit for the system requirements, because this looks to be one of the games that has very, very tame system requirements, and you'll love to see that. In an era of system requirements that are absolutely insane, Marathon system requirements are actually quite palatable. Now, I will say this, our friends over at Green Man Gaming, if you are looking to pick up the game, have Marathon 16% off for $33.59. They do have the deluxe edition 16% off for $50.39. A lot of people are suggesting, oh, Marathon went with this price point because they saw the success of Arc Raiders and they want to be competitive. Well, first of all, I don't think we need to clown on them if that is the reason why they went with this price point. That is the whole idea of competition being good, and competition would drive publishers to lower their price points and be more competitive with price points. But also, PlayStation Live service games have adopted this model. They are not all free-to-play titles. They are $40 buy-to-play titles, and then they do have microtransactions, and then they'll also have a $60 deluxe edition. That's been every PlayStation-published live service game. Concord, Helldivers 2... So it's not like this is that out of the realm of normality, but hey, if Arc Raiders is the reason, more power to them, because that's why you want competition. And from an art direction standpoint, I think it looks quite good. Obviously, there was a lot of talk with the plagiarism and whatnot. Thankfully, we've moved on from that, but yeah, that was a crap show in its own right. But in this video, I mainly do want to highlight the system requirements, as again, I find that to be rather tame. Minimum requirements: Intel Core i5 6600, AMD Ryzen 5 2600, 8 gigabytes of RAM, hallelujah! To see more modern titles with a minimum of 8 gigabytes of RAM. Obviously, I am all aboard that, especially with the price points of RAM these days. There are still a lot of people that are running PCs with 8 gigabyte RAM configurations. And if somebody built a lower or a lower mid-level PC 5-6 years ago, around that range, a 1050 Ti 8 gigs of RAM, that's around what they would have. And for the GPU requirement, it's not even a GTX 1060, it's a GTX 1050 Ti. So whenever I see a game and minimum requirement is a GTX 1060, I'm like, okay, that's a big W that a GPU like the 1060 is being supported. And 1060 is one of the most popular GPUs still to this day, according to Steam surveys. But now that we're going one level even lower than that for Marathon, I think that's great, and that's a 4 gigabyte GPU. The RX 5500 XT is also listed in the Intel Arc A580. Now, recommended obviously a little bit higher end. It's the Intel Core i5 10400 or the Ryzen 5 3500, 16 gigabytes of RAM, the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2060, RX 5700 XT, or Intel Arc A770. RTX 2060, while that is certainly beefier than a 1050 Ti, that's still a fairly tame GPU for a game that's coming out in 2026. The 2060 came out quite a few years ago at this point. And the RTX 2060 was released all the way back in 2019, so 7 years later, a GPU from 2019, even before the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series came out, that GPU still, hanging around being a recommended GPU. Hey, I think that's good to see. There's a lot of games these days that I feel like I've been seeing the 3060 or even 3070 being recommended. Those Lego Batman requirements had me almost have a heart attack for a second until they came out and said it was a placeholder. We'll see how that turns out. And ultimately, requirements, we can only take them at face value in the sense that, yeah, you can have these lower end requirements, but is the game going to end up being optimized? That is hopefully something that will end up being the case. And Arc Raiders has gotten a lot of credit for being fairly well optimized. And Arc Raiders is a game that also has a GTX 1050 Ti at minimum. A little bit different where they do have 12 gigabytes of RAM at minimum and an Intel Core i5-6600K. Recommended for Arc Raiders is a 2070 and an RX 5700 XT. But really not that different where Marathon is at. Now, beyond Marathon and me thinking that the footage we're seeing now looks fairly decent, and maybe part of that is also the relative aspect to it, as I was thinking Marathon for a while based on its initial reveal and a lot of the, a lot of the promotional errors with the game, to say the least. It was going to be dead on arrival, and I'm not here to say that it's going to be a gigantic success, but right now, it is one of the better selling games on Steam. I believe it's in the top selling list. Yeah, as far as paid titles go, Arc Raiders is number 1, the Steam Deck is number 2, number 3 is Marathon. So, and we are a month and a half away from the release of this game. Guys, I think this game is going to pull really good numbers right out the gate on March 5th. Again, when it comes to live service games, we all say the same thing. Sustainability is the name of the game, and Arc Raiders is a game that has shown that at a higher level. But I think Marathon being delayed and Arc Raiders coming out ultimately is going to benefit Marathon. Just about anything they did as far as avoiding the disaster launch that was impending with Marathon was going to improve it, but I believe Arc Raiders, remember, Arc Raiders also came out on consoles. This could be a situation where rising tides lift all boats. I know Tarkov's been around for a while, but I feel like Marathon is going to have a little bit more attention on it because Arc Raiders has gotten so much buzz. It has sold 12 million copies, and now you're getting another player in the extraction shooter market. Extraction shooters, I don't think there's this overabundance of them, that there's this overwhelming amount of them, and given that it's a Bungie title, given it's an extraction shooter, and given it's at a budget price point, at least initially, I think the game is going to do really, really well. Ultimately, the long-term viability of it is something that we can ascertain when the game actually comes out and we see how it does, but right now, I do want to be cautiously optimistic. Maybe because it's Bungie, I should be pessimistic. Again, I don't have this relationship with Destiny 2 that, for example, one of my best friends has, and, he's like, dude, don't even talk about Marathon. I'm not ready to get into another Bungie title. I assure you, by March the 5th, bro, I know him. He's going to be playing this game on the basis that it's a Bungie game, and he spent way too much money on Destiny 2. I just know how he is. And I think some people are honestly gonna end up checking the game out on March 5th as well, even if they're not super, super excited for it, because I do think there's gonna be a healthy level of buzz around it. I'm not saying it's gonna pull 500,000 concurrent players, but dude, when this game was initially being talked about and when it was initially gonna come out, people were literally thinking of this game as Concord 2.0. It is not gonna be Concord 2.0, at least initially, and I mean, dude, Concord literally shut down within a week. It's not gonna be that. Is it a game that could fall off in 2 months? Absolutely. Pretty much every live service game has the potential to do that. Battlefield 6 launched with 700,000 concurrent players and is now down to 50,000 or so. Like, every game can fall off. Not every game is going to have the sustainability of Arc Raiders, but given where Marathon, the trajectory was when this game was initially going to come out, and where the trajectory is now, I think it's at a much better place now, and we'll see how it turns out on March the 5th. If nothing else, the system requirements are a massive W, so I gotta give them credit on that. But that is gonna do it for me. Let me know your thoughts. Am I glazing Marathon a little bit too early? I don't even think I'm glazing the game. I just gotta give them credit on the system requirements, and hopefully that's realized into a well-optimized game. And, I hope Bungie gets back on track, because it's been a dicey couple of years for Bungie, to say the least. But that'll do it for me, and let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.